Shelley, would you like to come up and talk a little bit about your event and your business?
Yes. Okay. So really, I really appreciate this opportunity to come and talk about what I'm trying to do in my life and in my community. So again, my name's Shelley Lima. I live out in Manila. I've been there for 22 years. I am a retired person, and I learned how to sew when I was about 9 years old. So I've sewn throughout my whole life. And just recently, I've decided to try something that I would enjoy, where I'm the boss, and just try to make a little extra money on the side and fill my days with something I love to do. So I've created a business called One of a Kind with Redesign. And what I'm doing is purchasing clothing and fabrics, and I have a ton of it anyway from the past. A lot of it's vintage by now. And I take those clothes that are already made from a thrift store. I look for quality fabric, the design of the fabric, and how well made the product has presents itself. So I cut everything apart, and it usually takes a couple of weeks maybe that I decide that I'm going to put two pieces together or whatever. And I create items of clothing. So I'm into kimonos, both for men and women. I love making men's shirts. Any kind of clothing that I can come up with. I can make a dress out of a skirt. It's got to be a big skirt though. And just have a lot of fun in my creativity. It's the first time in a really long time that those synapses were actually really working. I could feel it in my body. It was like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I have this One of a Kind with Redesign. The cards, I'll pass them out to whoever would like one. Recycled, repaired, repurposed, redesigned. And it has on the back of it a list of the things that I do, which are repairs, vintage, custom sewing, alterations, bridal attire, setters, and curtains and whatever. So I do make some fabulous pillows too. And those are usually made with the scraps of the fabric that I'm working with. So I'm trying to create an environment for myself where my creativity will not stop. So given that, I'm thinking moving forward, my first idea was that I could be part of one of the big vendor markets, become a vendor. And so maybe twice a year I'll go out and try to sell things that way, aside from social media as well. So what I've decided to do is right now I'm in the process of organizing a vendor market. It's called Humboldt Holiday Market. Now they had that several years ago for a couple of years in a row out in Manila. So we're going to be in Manila. It's November 25th and 26th. So the 2 days after Thanksgiving. And I've made posters that I'd like to hand out. So if anybody has a shop, if they could put a poster up in your window. This poster, this flyer here, was designed by one of the interns that's helping out at the resource center at the community center. So she's a great young woman. She's going to college here at HSU, and she has time for me. And it's pretty a wonderful thing. So there's a couple more that may be helping out. So I put her in charge of a few things as well as the design, because I was born in the wrong year to learn how to use a computer. So this is, I struggle with it, and I just say, will you help me, please? So that way I'm learning myself and having other people help us as well. So anyway, I'm in need of help the days of those events. If anybody would like to help out selling, one of the things that we're doing is we're going to have music for people. We're going to have raffles for our guests who come, and we're selling snack foods and then drinks. We're doing, we'll have a couple of holiday spirits as well as a regular coffee and sodas or whatever it is that we decide. So we're doing a cocoa, a nice cocoa with or without Baileys. We're doing a spritzer that I invented, so it's a cranberry mint kind of special drink that can have, getting the gin from Jules Ginnery, but that's not what it is, out in Blue Lake, trying to keep it pretty local. Among those vendors, everybody's from around here, and most of the items are handmade, so that's what we're looking for. One of my goals is to eventually create an event that we can, that there will be money left over from the sales of the things that are to the public, and donate that money to a senior citizens type of a business. So for instance, like visiting Angels or the senior center, something like that. Myself, I'm a senior. I see we have them here today. So we all know what we could, we could all one day need to have a drive to the doctor's office or whatever. So trying to look at how we can support those people who are not really connected enough that they just can't make it to whatever they need to do. So, and the support of having someone when you're elderly and alone is really important and helps people feel better and just live better that way. I'm trying to think. So if there's anybody here that would like to be involved in the Humboldt Holiday Market, please let me know. I'm also giving out my business card because I feel like I made them for a reason. So, and I've been pretty busy with that. So let's see. And if anybody has any questions about it, you can ask me and I tell you yes.
Do you still have space for vendors?
Not at this moment. We're up to 16. This is my first time I've done this. I have a lot of experience doing events for a very long time, different locations, just different causes. So I feel confident that we're going to do a really good job and that I feel good about the organizing. So that is one of the things that I've had to really think about. When do I stop? Because I have people still calling me to be a vendor, and all I have left is outdoors. And outdoors in Manila in the wintertime, it's a bit risky, but if you like being outdoors, then it's a good thing. But there are a lot of covered areas out there at the community center that could be really useful that way. So anybody else have a question or say you just want to come and help me that day? So to greeters and just to welcome people in and servers as well. So anyway, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I will have posters. I'll stay here through the end. So if you'd like one with a business card, I'd love to hand them out to you. Thank you very much.
I thought it was really important that Shelley come and speak to us. We are deeply invested in that for a number of projects with finance in the school, water catchment, gardens, highway cleanup. That's our neighborhood. So let's support, and she's working to provide resources for seniors in that area. So this is an important thing to be a part of. So, yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Vanessa.
you, of course. And then I just kind of wanted to give a catch up to Lori. I haven't seen her in person in a while. And I thought everybody else would like to hear too.
This is my first meeting since the pandemic. I can't even believe that. First meeting in person. I have been on Zoom religiously every week. But it's good to be back, you guys. There's nothing like in person. There's a lot of new faces. I'm a past president of this club, past assistant governor for the region. But as far as what's going on new, let me see. Since the pandemic started, I've got a granddaughter. You know how that feels. It is so awesome. And next week, I get to retire. I am so looking forward to this.
So
the Interafters, I spent 10 years teaching at Arcata High. I've spent the last 12 at Humboldt County Office Fed, helping out all of the schools. have had an absolutely amazing experience. It's really nice retiring from a job that you love, but it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, what am I gonna do? Our plans immediately are to go up to Idaho. We've got 4 daughters, 2 in San Diego, 1 in Reno, and the baby, Katie, just moved up to Idaho while her husband, gosh, I have a hard time saying that, the baby is married. Her husband is going to lineman school, so we're gonna head up to Idaho, see them, head down to San Diego to see the grandbaby. It's gonna be amazing, but I'll try to be back for Taste of the Holidays. So good to see you guys all.
Gonna try to end on a happy note, but oh yes.
Can we just?
No. Well, yeah. Go. Please. Yeah.
Tomorrow morning,
Oh, that's right,
8:30. Stop time at out at Manila. Community out there, meet out at the nature center. It's really just get out there, do a little work for an hour, feel good, take the rest of your day. So 8:30 over by 10. AJ sent out a sign up to us yesterday or day before.
And nobody has signed up.
So I'm just counting that you guys are like, you get to sign up.
Yay,
Yeah.
perfect. We got 2? Yeah. Do you need rides?
I'll still bring it to the club.
Okay.
Talk to you so we can get some information back to the club and you guys.
Yes, I'll wait.
Okay. Sweet. Yay. Did you? No. There, yes, but I couldn't find a picture immediately. So yeah, I'll see. I made the mistake of reading the Kyle Zollner report. It was a terrible, brutal thing to read, but there's action to take.
So it's really not like me to get involved in some kind of thing and send something out to everybody I know. But I did because I think that we had been told as a community that there was not evidence in a murder that happened in our community. And maybe it's manslaughter, it wasn't intentional, whatever, somebody was killed. And I talked to law enforcement. I talked to Luke in our club before I sent the email that I sent. And if you happen to have read it, it just said, here is the judge's finding who, because Kyle said he was wrongly arrested. And the judge said, wow, actually, no. There's a significant amount of evidence. And some of that was not presented when it originally went to preliminary trial only 10 days after. And so there's really, from many law enforcement officers that I've talked to, there is sufficient evidence for it to just go to trial. And that is all the Lawson family is asking for. Just give it a chance. I think really the most compelling that was not disclosed is that Kyle was covered with Josiah's blood, front and back, fully soaked. And that wasn't addressed. And so we're simply saying, please let this go to trial. And our district attorney has held the line. If there's not an eyewitness, then it's not going to trial. If there's not more evidence, it is not going to trial. And many other counties absolutely would send this to trial. And so in what I have just asked people is, as a parent, as a member of this community, I ask that if a person who, there's a lot of evidence to say this person killed someone, let's just let that be something that the jury decides. And so I sent a message to people I know and said, ask the DA, please just let this go to trial. And the response is, without more evidence, we're not going to. And really, again, I just want to stress that would not be true in many other counties. And I've spoken to a lot of law enforcement before I sent that letter. The email that I sent, and if you're like, what are you talking about? I can send it to you again. But anyway, it says, please write a letter and just say, hey, as a community, we would like to know that if there's sufficient evidence that somebody stabbed a person at an event in our community, that we would like that to to go forward. So that's one thing. I gave you the information, Meg Fleming right now. It'll become Stacy Eads. We'll be meeting with Stacy Eads next week with the Lawson family and a number of other people. Just saying, please, just let this go to trial. That's all we're asking. And then come what may. Another thing that was in the email that I sent you is David Josiah Lawson was an incredible young leader in our community and was involved in doing a lot of community service work. And one thing that really mattered to DJ was supporting people who are homeless or in a difficult situation. And so the Lawson family every year has done a huge distribution of stuff. And we just working with Arcata House Partnership and saying, what do people need and how can we get it out to them? And so there was also in the email I sent just a GoFundMe if you feel like giving even $10, anything. Charmaine pays for almost everything outside of what we all donate with her own money. And the reason that she does this every December is because that is the kind of work that David Josiah Lawson would be doing if his life was not taken when he was only 19 years old. So 2 ways that you can help. And you said, maybe we're not ending on a positive note. We can end on a positive note because we can ask this to go to trial and we can also help and distribute beautiful things in David Josiah's name. Thank you.
Well, and those things include shampoo, soap, toothbrushes, socks.
Or the easiest thing is go to the GoFundMe and say, here's $20 and we'll buy it all and we'll make sure that people in need get it.
Meg.
Or more than 20.
I just had a clarifying question because I saw that it said Arcata Sunrise Rotary was barbecuing for the events this weekend. Does anyone know about that?
So, SEMA has this Halloween event that happens. I think it's their 7th annual, and she does haunted house, face painter, caricatures, all these events for kids, absolutely free. Bob's Circus do some crafts, and the club is gonna barbecue some burgers. I have 7 out of 8, which is great. One more barbecue is great. It'll be on Sunday, and the events from 12 to 5. Shift will be 11:45. That's expected. All we're doing is showing up and doing some good things. Go buy the food, be there to help and support people.
Don't tell Marty, you guys. Ian?
A quick moment of gratitude, Lori, since you're, where are you, Marty? We are in the room. So Lori recently at Oktoberfest met the student I was in and found out that she's into illustration and art and attended a book fair while Hila was in San Francisco with all the other exchange students. And she dropped by the office last week, so these are for Hila. And she got them signed by some illustrators, and I just want you to know how grateful Hila is, because when I brought them home, they said, I didn't think they would ever remember that I was interested in going to that. And so that we thought of her, for them, when they were away and couldn't go to that thing and brought that back. That meant a lot.
Awesome. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm collecting your auction money.
No quiz this week, this guy.
Or let me know if you've been with us.
And happy birthday, Claire. Okay.
Can you Venmo to Terry Clark?
Yes.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, just let me know if you've done that.
All right, quick.